Wellington's 2025 local election is shaping up to be one of the most continuous in recent memory. At the centre of the storm is mayoral candidate Ray Chung. He's a current city councillor who's running under the political banner Independent Together. But behind that promise of independence lies a campaign led by scandal, aggressive messaging and deep questions about who is really pulling the strings. This is the story of smear tactics, coordinated pressure, and the growing influence of political lobby groups in Wellington's local democracy.
Our goal is to have truly independent candidates with a wide range of skills and experience running the council. We've been running a positive, informative campaign, and that's reflected by the people coming to our roadshow events. Interestingly enough, no mainstream media has attended any of them. Our pillars are about reducing the rates burden, getting the council back to basics, and ending party politics around the council table. This is our focus, not the smear campaigns that are consuming the media attention.
In early June, Chung launched his mayoral campaign with a spectacle, arriving to the Rocky theme song at Wellington's Public Trust Hall. It was theatrical and a sharp departure from the understated tone typical of local politics. Chung introduced Independent Together, a group of 13 local candidates promising to shake up City Hall. What started as a slate of 13 candidates had by mid-July shrunk to just 6. The message was very clear.
Inexperience around the council table allows the spending to continue unabated. Too many councillors are more concerned about pushing causes and ideologies that have no place in council. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be doom and gloom. We can change the paradigm. Party politics should play no role in local government. We need more unity, not division. More common sense, not ideology.
But while the group has branded itself as unaffiliated and independent, the campaign was quickly surrounded by coordinated messaging, shared slogans, and a digital ecosystem powered by the lobbying group Better Wellington. In 2023, months after Tory Whānau was elected mayor, Ray Chung sent an email to 3 fellow councillors. The message repeated a lewd, third-hand rumour about Whānau's private life. It was a story reportedly passed on from a neighbour's son. Whānau called the rumour malicious and sexist, and said it was part of a wider effort to undermine her leadership as a Māori Wellington mayor. Chung confirmed he sent the email, but insisted it was not his opinion, only what he'd been told. He has since admitted it was a misjudgment, saying he's wiser now. But political experts and critics say intent doesn't erase impact. I spoke to Paul Barlow to talk a little bit more about this. He's a political communications analyst and also a filmmaker. He says that the email fits a familiar pattern.
I get sent a whole bunch of information from people all over the Mutu about candidates and what they're up to, or campaigns and what's going on there. And there's a lot of stuff that you can't talk about publicly. It's hearsay, rumours, stuff like that, things that you shouldn't send in an email to your co-workers, essentially. But you do hear a lot of those sort of rumblings out there, and it happens everywhere in the country, rural, residential, it makes no difference in that respect, because people are playing politics is what it boils down to. I think what we're starting to see is a change in the way that New Zealand deals in politics. What we've seen with the central government is that, they've shifted right, and we see a lot of very mixed messaging there, and we don't see particularly strong leadership messaging, but we do see it from, Winston Peters, for example, or David Seymour. They're very clear on their messaging, even if you disagree with it. What we're starting to see filter through to local body elections are people mimicking what we're seeing on a national level, and what we're seeing on a national level is kind of mimicking what we're seeing overseas, and so it does all filter down.
One of these groups, you may remember 2 years ago, started a rumour about a sex tape that I apparently had out in the sphere. That was completely untrue, and we told journalists that it didn't exist. But that particular group had so much, for whatever reason, it gained legs. And I'm still trying to bat off that rumour today. Candidates, progressive candidates, especially if you're mayor or deputy mayor, have that as a very real danger. Some of them post machine guns on my Instagram page. Some have sent death threats, and one said he wanted to drag me down the street behind his truck. Do these people exist?
Who's really behind the campaign? Despite its name, the Independent Together campaign is far from unaffiliated. Much of its funding and messaging support comes from Better Wellington, a ratepayer-focused lobbying group backed by local business interests. But dig deeper and a more sophisticated political network begins to emerge. One of Better Wellington's founders and key strategists is Glenn Inwood, a long-time political operative with a career in corporate PR and right-wing messaging campaigns. Inwood is no stranger to influence building. He previously ran media strategy for New Zealand First and has been a public advisor to Shane Jones, a polarising figure in nationalist politics. He also managed campaigns for industries like tobacco and whaling, often using front groups and messaging pressure to shift public perception. In 2024, Inwood was involved in an event called Inflection Point, a one-day conference that promoted anti-trans ideology, casting doubt on mainstream journalism, and rallied activists against what it called political correctness in public institutions.
Readers should be able to rely on mainstream media for accuracy. The media needs to die in New Zealand. I think that's going to happen very soon. Yeah. You got to look at it like this. Joan Didion, the great Joan Didion, said in life, everything is copy, and this is what this is. So let's go out there, like Bishop Brumman said, and change this. This has got to change. This is perversion. You're absolutely right.
Men are not women, even if you squint. We absolutely reject gender ideology was ever part of our culture. And the Māori elites in universities, media and government have sold us out for rainbow blankets and 30 pieces of glitter. My sisters and I were born and raised in Wellington. We are 3 of 7, so look out. We remember the Wahine disaster and lived for a time in the second oldest house ever built in Wellington. So it's very hard to describe how we felt when we were told by the mayor of our city, a modern elite Māori wahine, that we're not welcome here and that we and our views are grotesque. She said this in public when we were applying for a permit for the Let Women Speak event with Kelly J. Keane in March last year. And again, just this week, Mayor Tory Whānau has said that everyone in this room is not welcome. Well, too bad, Tory. We are here and we are speaking.
What's marketed to voters as common sense reform may in fact be a tightly coordinated campaign, one drawing from political playbooks, honed far from outside Wellington's council chambers. Voters do face a choice. It's crucial. As Wellingtonians prepare to vote, this election is no longer just about infrastructure or budgets. It's about a political culture and the kind of leadership voters are willing to really trust. Ray Chung says he wants to fix a broken council, but his campaign and the machinery behind it raises critical questions. Is Independent Together truly independent? And if this is how the campaign is run, with smears, walkouts and lobbying ties, what happens if it wins? Voters will decide whether these are just tactics or red flags.